Hey y'all. How y'all doing? All right. Okay. So I have been putting off doing the Sammy Smith interview that was with American Dreamcatcher. Of course, I've listened to it over and over and over again, multiple times, comparing it to other interviews and things that have been said. And, you guys know, I told y'all that I was taking up for her, that initially, I was actually being very vocal to people in the comment section on other channels, other videos, that I was being very vocal, that inconsistencies. We're not police officers. Let's talk about this for a minute. We're not police officers. We're not detectives. We're people basically gathered around the water fountain at work, talking about the things that are interesting to us. And so sometimes we get a little too excitable about information that we come across. And so, I try to be very measured and careful, on moving forward with some of my ideas. I have a lot more initial first impressions than I would ever put out in public, because these are real live people. Sammy Smith is a real live human being somewhere out there in the world, and us talking about her could have negative ramifications. So we need to be measured and respectful, respectable as well, but respectful, that the things that we say, we're not just doing an Alex Jones, Sandy Hook, going off the deep end, kind of things. We got to be careful of that. And in my video that I put out on the Tale of Two Sweatshirts, that's not really about Sammy. That's about the fact that someone is not telling the truth. Now, notice, 1 minute. Sorry about that. Notice, I don't have any problem saying that, because there is absolutely good evidence to show they didn't tell the truth. Sammy did not tell the truth about what Kiely was wearing. So that's real. I mean, that's good information. It's just truth, according to what the police have put out in their press conferences. So up until the whole dual sweatshirt problem emerged, I was really being quite vocal, and I was saying, hey, wait a minute, y'all. Just because someone comes out with a different version, just because someone in their initial reporting, they say one thing, they have one belief, but then later on, a week or two later, they come out and they tell basically the same story, that the high points are the who, what, when, and where, that stays the same, but maybe there's a little bit of the adaptation, that is not indicative of lying, that is a function of the brain's memory being inefficient. Our brain, our memory is inefficient the way that it looks. Perceptually, our brain sort of takes these visual images as we go through the day. And then as those visual images get processed and moved from short-term memory into long-term memory, then our brain looks for things that we already know that seems like it would fit with those missing spaces of information. And so the brain kind of works with the things that we were exposed to. And then in a process of, Gestalt completion, then we kind of make up memory. So there's a small portion of our memory that's just made up. It's just comes from old memories and old experiences that we've had that may run parallel to the information we're accurately observing. Another problem that makes memory fallible is that, we have a confirmation bias, meaning we're only really going to see what we're looking for. And I don't know if you guys have done the video online where you're watching people with I think it's people with basketballs. It's like a little basketball team, and they're all bouncing the basketball and throwing the ball back and forth around each other. And then when you get to the end of the video, it says, "Did you see the gorilla? Did you see the dancing gorilla?" And you're like, "What? No, there was no dancing gorilla." Aha, but there was. You just didn't see it. And the reason you didn't see it is because you were asked to pay attention to the ball, and your brain doesn't even register the dancing gorilla. So memory has some problems. It may be that you have missing gaps of information in your memory just because of the way that the perceptual organization of the brain operates. And if there is missing information, then the brain will use existing knowledge, what the brain already knows, to sort of try to complete and fill in the blank between the two existing memories. And of course, the second being confirmation bias, you see what you look for. And so you're not seeing everything in the environment. If you observe a car crash or something like that, you're only paying attention to pieces of it. You're not seeing the whole field. That's why we'll watch a video and then we'll go back and watch it again and again and again, because each time we're focusing on a different part of the video. And when we do it that way, then we can integrate it and get the whole picture. But if you're just going off of memory from a live event, man, you're missing so much of the information. So I don't have a problem per se, as long as the who, what, when, where are really front and center. If there's some changes, it's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that Sammy is not telling the truth. But when you say that the girl is wearing a black sweatshirt with Lana Del Rey lyrics, and then the cops come up with a video where she's wearing a white sweatshirt with pink wording that says "odd future," Sammy, that's a problem. It just is. So you verified to Dreamcatcher that she was wearing the black bodysuit and green Dickies and the same belt. Then how is it that she ends up at a party that you claim you were with her, seen with her throughout the whole party? You didn't notice that she's wearing a white sweatshirt. So that is a problem. And so it wasn't until then that I really kept quiet about Sammy. And I spoke out in support of Sammy, saying just because there's inconsistencies doesn't mean she's lying. Now we have a problem, right? We have a real problem. So now that we know this, or now that, I feel comfortable acknowledging that there's a problem with the clothing that she was last seen wearing, I want to go back to the American Dreamcatcher interview, and I just want to take a look a little bit of what she said in her interviews. All right. And I am having trouble with my eyes today, so they seem a little glassy and weird, and I'm having a hard time seeing. But that's what they do. I've told y'all before, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and it attacks my eyes, unfortunately. So I'm having not a full flare up, but enough that it's very, very blurry, and they're itchy and hurt a little bit, All right. So let me put my headphones on. Okay. And we will get started. If you If you haven't already, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel, and you may hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down depending on whether or not you enjoy the video. All right, here we go. And please feel free to share the video, um, because YouTube is not going to share the video. All right, get to the. There we go. All right, here we go.
Vacation homes up here, they're just coming to party because why not? So then Kiely and I were going around.
I wanted to start a little bit. I wanted
planning on like leaving together, or people know what to look out for. If
Yeah, I'm sure. You saw her at the party where Kiely was spotted. A lot of treat area. Let's take a look at those pictures. There's a lot of helicopter activity. Of video surveillance with this is probably what she was wearing at the party. This is what she Sammy Smith, and I think she's just in backstage. So let's go ahead and take this. Welcome Sammy Smith.
Welcome, Sammy.
Hi. Sammy, thank you so much. I know you've been super busy, and it's an honor. It's a privilege to have you. I'm sorry for the circumstances, but I know you're super busy. You're pressed for time, so let's get to it. I know you've been repeating yourself all day, but
she is a beautiful girl.
Tell us who Kiely Rodni is. Go ahead. I'll let you have the stage.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Kiely.
No,
yeah.
You're welcome. I know you're super busy. I know you got to be tired. I know you've been busy.
He's being really nice to her. He's being really kind.
I know you're a busy girl, and I just want to say I really admire what you're doing. You're amazing young lady. You're only 18 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm 18.
It's outstanding for a young girl your age to. But anyway, nonetheless, I know you're pressed for time, and everybody's wanting to know what's the latest. What is? Well, I'll let you take it from the top. Who's Kiely Rodni? Let's go back to the beginning, I guess, real quick. Just give us a rundown.
Totally, yeah. So
totally, man.
Kiely is one of my close friends. We met through mutual friends, and we became closer in the past year to coming months recently. And she is just a light in a lot of people's lives. She's wonderful. She's smiling all the time. She's caring. She's beautiful. She's there for anybody who has ever needed her. She's very outgoing. She's outdoorsy too. She loves the water. She loves to sing. Her voice is just amazing too. And she's just a beautiful girl, and we all miss her a lot. And so
yeah, I'm sure you saw her at the party, right? You were at the party with her?
Yes, I was the last person to contact her after the party, and I was with her basically throughout the entire party. I was no,
it's okay. It's
around
okay.
With her.
I know you got a lot going on. I get
it. I'm at the teen to teen meetup, so there's a lot of kids outside.
Everybody's wanting to talk to you, and like I said, I greatly appreciate every minute I have with you. Can you take a quick look at this photo?
I wish he had not interrupted her.
She was wearing this at the night of the party. Is that what she was wearing?
He did do a great interview.
That top is exactly what I saw her in. If you can see on her left side, on her hip, you can see some skin. She was wearing a black bodysuit. I remember because we went to the bathroom together, peed in the woods together a couple of times, and so that's her shirt right there. The pants were different that she wore to the party. She was wearing green Dickies pants, but that belt is definitely what she's wearing too.
Okay, I remember. I'm sorry, but that looks like green Dickies to me. They may be gray, but the camera can make it wonky, right? Okay. Come on.
That was just released from the Placer County Sheriff's Office. This picture, I just found it on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
So there's talk about this top, the spaghetti straps top. Some people are saying it was found at the area. Can you confirm that, or Is that
Yeah,
just
so that has not been confirmed. If it has not been posted on our Find Kiely Rodni Instagram page or on the website or on the Placer County Sheriff's Office Facebook or anything, then it is not true and it is not something that people should be following on or trusting. The information will be posted and will be coming from us when it is confirmed. So to let people know what to look out for, if a changed shirt or something. So yeah, that has not been.
Okay. This is the first moment that I feel a little uncomfortable. And the reason I feel just a little bit uncomfortable about this is in light of what we have learned about her reported clothing that she was wearing at the party. I 100% agree that it is likely she was wearing the black tank top, bodysuit, and Dickies. I 100% agree she was probably wearing that, and then she had on the white sweatshirt over. Right, I think that makes sense. And when you look at the photographs and the videos now beginning to emerge from the party, you do see that the majority of kids were wearing sweatshirts of some sort. So it might have been a little bit brisk, that evening. Um, I don't like that she's mentioning that they should look for a change of clothing, and there's actually going to be another time in this interview that she says the same thing. They're looking for a change of clothing. That is a very strange thing to say, because at this point, why would they have believed that there was going to be any change in clothing at all? So very, very curious.
Confirmed.
okay? Perfect. So at the night of the party, the last time you saw her, can you tell us about, I guess, give us a rundown of the party real quick. I understand it was a large gathering.
Yeah,
100
so it was supposed to be a senior farewell party where all the seniors and everybody from around our area, like Tahoe and Truckee and Incline and Kings Beach, were supposed to be there. They were invited there because
I don't like that. I don't like. It's a simple question. It's just a simple. Was it a senior party, or why was it an advertised party? Who gave the party? It's a very simple answer. Why is she struggling? She's struggling so hard. She is constructing an answer as we're listening to her right here. She's trying to remember. And I can't figure out what it is that she might be trying to remember. Now she's looking down, which makes me think it's she's accessing memorized information. Um, but what would that be from? It could be that she's trying to remember, like, when or where they posted the invitation to the party. I don't know what she's thinking. Nobody's a mind reader, but we are definitely seeing that she's having a very difficult time constructing an answer that she feels confident with. For some reason, this plan before the party ever occurred is tripping her up. And I don't know why it would do that, but she's definitely unhappy with the answer related to why the party, who put it together, when did you put the advertisement out. She's struggling with the answer. She's struggling.
it was supposed to be like saying goodbye to your favorite seniors before everybody starts going off to college, because soon enough here people are going to start.
I think possibly she wanted to call it a senior party. And I definitely believe the narrative has grown into that it was a senior party. But then I think she's walking back the idea that it was a senior party, maybe because it wasn't recognized as a senior party. Because then she walks all around it. Well, it was supposed to be, like just saying goodbye to your seniors, and it was only for seniors. But like Kiely could come because she graduated early, so she was considered a senior. Right there is your first big trip up, because the way she describes Kiely as she finished school early and she was considered a senior, she has now just put a very clear delineation between she or the other kids and Kiely. That is a moment where she's admitting Kiely was an outsider. for this particular party, Kiely was an outsider who was included because I guess because she's graduating, she was considered a senior. And then she realizes, I think, that sounds clumsy. And so then she says, well, anybody that wanted to come, if they had friends that were seniors and they wanted to come and just say goodbye. It was such a weird answer. Took so much time for it to have been, really, it should have just been a very quick, non-important response. But it turns into one of the most uncomfortable answers that she gives in this whole interview, in my opinion.
Leaving and moving out, and so Kylie's a senior, or she graduated early, so she's considered a senior, and I was a senior, so every senior was initially invited to the party. And as well, all grades were invited, just so that they could say goodbye. Right? So I had talked with Kiely, and I had known she was going beforehand. We hadn't planned on going together, and we ended up not going together. She came with her best friend Mags.
Okay, again, what's the point of that answer? Why did she give you two answers? She said, well, we talked, we didn't plan to go together, and we didn't go together. Why do you need to throw those two answers in together? I don't know what it means. I'm not going to pretend to know what it means. All I know is when my ears hear it, it sounds clumsy.
Larson, Magdalene, sorry, is her first name.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and so she came with her, drove in with her, and then Mags ended up leaving about 10 minutes into the party with her boyfriend, Ross, Mags's boyfriend, and told Kiely goodbye and everything. And they were never planning on leaving together or staying together at the party. They just went to the party together because they were hanging.
Again, why is she giving all of these negatives? Like, oh, we didn't plan to go together and we did not go together. Mags was there for 10 minutes. She ends up leaving with her boyfriend, Ross, and they never planned to leave together. It wasn't the plan to leave together. Why? Is it so that the police don't go to these kids and demand answers? Is this a way to minimize the role of Kiely's friends to reduce the likelihood that the officers would question them? I don't know. That is literally the only answer that I could come up with. And it's not a very good explanation. This is very uncomfortable and clumsy.
Hanging out earlier in the day. And then
earlier in the day. This is so important. Initially, I didn't care. That answer about, well, Mags and Kiely were hanging out earlier in the day together. Okay. I didn't care about that. And the reason I didn't care about that is because these are girls and they could have been putting makeup on together, getting ready to go out to their party, their celebration. It's common for girls to do that when they have something important planned for the weekend. And then they decide, well, let's get ready at your house, or no, let's get ready at your house. And they make a big deal of it, right? So it was nothing to me. It just water off a duck's back, had no significance at all. But then Ryan Upchurch, my next two read, Ryan Upchurch ends up on Ickmel. I have a hard time saying the name, Ickmel. And he talks to this guy, Ronnie. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan doesn't like Ronnie. They're not besties at this point. And what was curious is that Ronnie, who claims that he had two 25, 26-year-old cousins that were at the party and they saw Kiely, and that she was highly intoxicated, stumbling about, whatnot. And he says in this interview with Ickmel, he says that they had seen Kiely earlier in the day, that she was drinking all day. What? Ryan, there are some people that are going, oh my God, Upchurch is so crazy. He's so insane. Well, he may be crazy like a fox. You better be careful about who you call him crazy. Because there's something wrong with this guy, Ronnie, saying Oh, she was drunk all day. She was already drunk all day. They saw her earlier in the day. Now he tries to walk it back. He tries to walk it back and say, oh, well, like before 10 o'clock. Well, what the hell you mean before 10 o'clock? You're claiming that they didn't, that they saw her at 9 o'clock, but then we hear she doesn't get there till about 10 or 10:30. So which is it? You can't have it both ways. And if she arrives at about 10 or 10:30, and then your two cousins are leaving at about 10 or 10:30, then how in the hell do your two cousins say, oh yeah, we saw her a lot earlier in the day. She was already smashed. That is significant. That is quite significant. I got a feeling Mr. Ronnie is going to be getting a visit from Placer Sheriff's Department. You know what I mean? Or FBI.
I saw her the second she got there, and from that moment on, we were pretty much seen together all around the party. We would break off for mere moments from each other.
Moments.
Go talk to other people or to go do other things,
What things?
But we would always come back to each other. We were just going around the party. We were drinking the same drinks, being teenagers, throwing glow sticks into the party. And it started to grow really big, I would say around 10 to 10:30.
Oh, about the time she arrived.
Blew up. Like it started to get to the point where I was getting overwhelmed, and I'm a very social person. I've been to a lot of these parties. I've never been overwhelmed. I've actually been underwhelmed. But at this party, it was very large. Like it was bigger than any party we've had in Truckee all year, and for a lot of
bigger than any party they've had in Truckee all year. It's a big party, is what she's trying to tell you. And since Truckee is sort of a little place, and this was only going to be private to the seniors, then how do you explain all those people? How do you explain all those people? Well, it becomes very important that you have a lot of people from places like Reno, Tahoe, San Francisco, 7 hours away. It becomes very important that you have outsiders there at the party if you're embarking on a cover-up. If your goal is a cover-up to an accident, you don't want the only people being there locals, because then somebody's got to take the fall. And if some local has to take the fall, they may not want to take the fall, and therefore they may tell everything they know. But if you can blame an accident on a stranger from San Francisco, then you could be out of the woods, and all of your besties from high school could all be safe.
Years past, there were people from what we think Sacramento, San Francisco. I remember talking to somebody who was from San Francisco, Reno, Folsom, areas that were just way out of reach from it. And it was really overwhelming and weird to see, but I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, oh, kids are around here. They have vacation homes up here. They're just coming.
Okay. 300 people. Mags is so afraid that within 10 minutes that she abandons the party. And she doesn't really think anything about it, because she believes that those additional 200 people, they're just people with vacation homes. Nothing to see here.
To party, because why not?
Oh, why not?
So then Kiely and I were going around taking shots and just drinking. We were trading drinks with each other. We were sharing drinks with each other. We would go back to her car to get some alcohol sometimes. And then we went to her car to charge her phone. And we were talking about
what were you talking about, Sammy?
Random stuff. And then
random stuff. She stops to access memory. Well, we were talking about random stuff. Just random stuff. It's hard for me to remember.
It's kind of hard to remember. And so, or no, we were talking about
she's trying to get back on script. I hate to use that word. You know why I hate to use that word? There's a narrative, I believe, that's been constructed. I think the narrative is important because a lot of people knew the narrative. And she's wandered away from it. she's trying to come back to it. You can tell she's looking up. She's trying to recall what it is that she is supposed to say. She then looks off to the right, trying to invent, being creative in thought. And finally now she's completely shutting out all the stimulus. She's turning completely inward to get realigned where she's supposed to be. So remember, before she got to this place where she's like, and shutting everything out, she was really stumbling. I mean, her answer was really stilted. She was changing in mid-sentence. Her eyes were darting about as she was searching for the information she needed to say. So let's see if a mini vacation away from the camera, where she can turn inward and get back onto her narrative, on her timeline of events. Let's see if she smooths out.
Her texting her mom and her charging her phone and stuff, and just about the party in general. And then we had a few other friends in the car, and then we all decided to go back to the party, and we were around in there.
That was really a miraculous recovery, right? Like the rapidity of her recovery is pretty shocking. I'm getting back to there we go. I want to listen to that again. Let me see if I went far enough.
Vacation homes up here, they're just coming to party because.
Remember, watch her as she begins to really, really stumble and struggle, trying to get her answer in order. And then she pulls back, closes her eyes, gets disconnected, refocused on the timeline. And then let's see, is she still stumbling with her words, having trouble with memory recall? Or does she seem to just move right on then?
Why not? So then Kiely and I were going around taking shots and just drinking. We were trading drinks with each other. We were sharing drinks with each other. We would go back to her car to get some alcohol sometimes. And then we went to her car to charge her phone. And we were talking about
can't remember
random stuff. And then it's kind of hard to remember.
Can't remember.
And so
what am I supposed to say?
We were talking about
watch
her texting her mom and her charging her phone and stuff, and just about the party in general. And then we had a few other friends in the car, and then we all decided to go back to the party, and we were around in there for a bit. I had asked her for a ride home when we were in the car because my ride was leaving and I wanted to stay at the party longer. And so then we ended up splitting up in the party because I went to go find another ride when we got back into the party after leaving the car. So
what do you think? Did she get back on her narrative? She completely got back on her narrative. You can almost see her bullet list. As she's going through her story, you can almost see where she's got, well, first I'm going to say this, then I'm going to talk about this, then I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk about this. It's not good.
That we could, sorry, my mind is in a moment.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
He
I
rescues
want to take
her
a couple
right
of
here.
questions here real quickly. Noah in the chat wants to ask you, who was fighting at the party? The girl and guy, look into them. Was there a fight at the party?
What?
Yeah, so there were some friendly fights that were going on.
Friendly fire.
Like we had boxing gloves. People were like trying to instigate. It wasn't anybody who had really any drama or
no drama, guys.
Enemies or anything. It was more just friendly fights to keep entertainment
going.
This happens at a lot of our parties. We just do it to have fun. If somebody gets hurt, like
we do it all the time.
It wasn't like a fight out of anger. It was just kind of a just a fun competition type of fight.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, just see who wins and who goes home with the title.
I know, right? It's so common to just fight and go home with the title. No, it's perfectly beyond question here. It's okay. She looks a bit angry. She looks a little bit angry as she is sort of grappling with this problem of a fight. She wasn't surprised that he asked about a fight. She didn't stop and go, a fight? What? What? It was, he said that about fight. She thought for a minute, she gets a flash of anger. And then, oh yeah, it was another. We often fight. It's not a big deal. You even have boxing gloves. It's such a common thing for us to fight for fun that we have boxing gloves. It's just part of what you need at a party. You need lights to hang in the trees. You need wood for your fire, and you need boxing gloves for the friendly boxing match. That's all. It's so silly and ridiculous that you would ask me about that, sir. It's normal. Everybody does boxing matches at parties.
Randomly admit people do end up getting in fights over who won, but not this time.
Oh, really? Is that right? I want you guys to take a look at her face right there. What emotion are you seeing? What emotion are you seeing? Anyone? Hello? Bueller? 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 What emotion are we seeing here? This generation is terrifying, says veteran on the tubes. Hi, boy. How are you doing? Contempt. There's a word for you. Contempt. Oh, I think she looks angry and defiant. I think she looks angry and defiant. Boy, what word do you think you see? What word? What emotion do you think you see in that moment? Look at her face. Critter says, it's a brat. Duping. I don't see any duping delight. She just looks pissed. She just looks like she is angry. And maybe her and Kiely fought. Yeah, only opinion. No, I get that, Tisha. It's okay. Yeah, I think she looks really angry, Allison. I agree with you. Yeah. She's trying to portray herself as though she's the greatest. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Shannon. But in this moment right here, look at her face. If you were standing in front of her, you had no idea what the topic of conversation was, what emotion, how do you think she would be feeling? Make a guess. Shalimar, what do you think she's feeling right now? Hey, Alessia, welcome. I don't think she looks like she has a poker face. I think her face is wide open. She has a mean look in her eyes. She does. Kathy R. Lulu Bell says she's pissed off. Hybrid Pisces says she's giving off serious Amber vibes. She knows much more than what she's saying. Yeah, aggressive. There you go. That look is a look that you don't turn your back on. You don't turn your back on that look. That is a look that says, don't mess with me. You really don't want to mess with me. She's angry in that. She's angry right there. Fury that is being controlled.
Daniel Taylor, and Nola, thank you for
Look at her. She is mad about that whole line of conversation.
the comment. Daniel Taylor's in the house. Daniel Taylor wants to ask you, did Kiely have her boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend with her at the party?
No, there was no ex-boyfriend there. Her ex-boyfriend lived in Napa. He was in Napa at the time, and I think he lives in Napa. And he actually drove up the next day the second he heard that she was missing. He's very close with her family and her. There was no anything. And she does not currently have a boyfriend. She was rocking the single life, like we used to say. She just wanted to be open and single.
Like you used to say, Sammy? Like you used to say before? You and Kiely used to say y'all were rocking the single life? You were smiling and laughing, having fun, and you said, we're totally rocking the single life, babe. You used to rock the single life with Kiely, right? Do you anticipate you won't be rocking the single life anymore? So a little bit harsh comment. We used to rock the single life.
go and
Yeah.
have fun as a kid.
I get it. She's
not
only
be tied
16.
down.
She's just a baby. I just can't even imagine. How's mom doing? Have you talked to her mom at all?
Yeah, so I've been in close contact with the family.
How they doing? She looked just a nervous wreck. I can't even imagine what she's going
Yeah.
through. Our thoughts and prayers are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say our thoughts and prayers are with the family. It's going to be a hard time. What can we do to help? What can the public do? The web sleuths out there. What can we do to help find Kiely? What can we do to help you?
To everyone at this point around the world, I'm hoping that this is reaching, and if anybody's seeing this, just if they can keep sharing this, get the story out to neighbors and friends and family and local news stations and local newspapers, and posting flyers, making flyers, screenshotting, and somehow making flyers. We need this information to spread everywhere. We're trying to get posters everywhere, information everywhere, just trying to have everybody in the world at this point looking for Kiely and just trying to find Kiely. And if anybody sees anything, to report it immediately to the police, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, or the numbers that have been loaded on. There's been a lot of trouble and frustration with people about the tip line, but they have to understand that there's 1,000 people in there working, getting millions of calls a day now.
I know you had stated that we're not trying to create any rumors, but there was something on the Facebook page that I wanted to see if maybe you can comment on this. It says 2 days ago on the Neighbors app at 1:00 Kiely drives the Honda CRV. Her tank top was possibly found at the scene. I know we just discussed that. We can't verify that is true. Down the road from so they're saying her tank top was found.
It was not found
at the scene down the road from the Prosser campground. The timestamps could be off due to a camera clock being accurate or inaccurate. But I don't know. Is there anything you can comment on that?
Yeah, so we are investigating into that currently, from my knowledge of the detectives, and it has not been confirmed nor denied that if that is Kiely, but we do not believe that her shirt has not been found. I can confirm that her shirt was not found, nor were any articles of her clothing at all.
Okay, I want to let's repeat that. The spaghetti strap shirt that was claimed to have been found, that was not hers.
No, it was not hers. It was investigated by the FBI and the cops and everything.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. So the spaghetti strap shirt, the top that was found, that did not belong.
That's not hers. No.
Sunroof, and it has a bolt. I got a daughter the same age. Be a TikTok video of the fight or something, right? There's got to be something out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is the last part I'm going to cover right here. So let's take a listen.
So there's hundreds of videos. We have videos of people taking videos.
Oh, wow.
We have
very good. Very good.
Hundreds of videos, hundreds of pictures. We've asked everybody to send us any videos and any pictures that they have, even if it's a picture that looks exactly like something else sent us. It could have different angles. We are looking at an app called Be Real, which is where a lot of kids waited, because the Be Real, it's an app where you can post a picture and there's 2 minutes at random points in the day. There's only one a day. And it comes as a notification will pop up on your phone that says, you have 2 minutes left to post your Be Real. Like everybody has, you can post it later in the time, but you're supposed to post in that time. We're looking at everybody's Be Reals because we know a lot of people waited until they were at that party to post their Be Reals. So we're looking for people to look back in their Snap memories of anybody that we can see in those videos, anybody that we can see in those Be Reals. We are looking at Instagram posts, photos taken on video cameras, photos taken on Snapchat, videos on all of these, and everything.
Okay. She lived fairly close. Is this picture correct? She was about 12 miles away. The Prosser family campground was roughly about 12 miles from her house. Is that correct?
That dot is not exactly where she was located. It's a little bit more to the right and towards the little blue lake that you can see up from it. It was a little bit closer to that lake, but definitely that's about, it would have taken about 30 minutes for her. We've found out about approximately 30 minutes for her to drive that way, 38 maybe.
This is crazy.
That's strange,
I mean,
isn't it?
you knew her being a friend. I mean, your thoughts on her running away? Would she have a reason to run away? I'm just trying to come up with anything that, I mean, it's just. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, what do you think?
To be fully honest, from what
Let's
I
be
believe about
honest.
Kiely, all ideas are still open in the air. But she's not the type of girl to run away. She loves people too much, and she has too much care in her heart to leave people and not leave a note or talk with one of her friends or something. And she is
Yeah.
smart enough to know how this would get out and that people would be worried about her. And she's a smart girl. She graduated with honors early from high school and was
Yeah.
going to attend college, and she had plans for her life, and she seemed really happy. She
And,
was
and I'm sure she wouldn't want to put her mom through this.
no.
Her mom just is destroyed.
Her mom is her
Deed,
life. Her mom is fully invested in her life.
I could see.
Okay. This interview is much, much longer. If you haven't seen it, this is on the channel All American Dreamcatcher. So we need to, let me take a screenshot and I'll share his link to his channel to this video so that you can go there and watch the whole interview. This is just a super small bit of the interview. So I hope you'll go over there, listen to the whole interview, like and subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Okay, now I want to move to my Twitter. Yep. Okay. Here are a couple of shorts that were posted. They are Sammy Smith's videos. I'm going to watch that one more time. The chance of getting killed by your bestie is low. That is not Kiely. That is Sammy. And then there's one more. Hold on. Okay, this is creepy. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. It's creepy. Let me explain to you what you're seeing here. This is Sammy with a friend. I'm going to use that word lightly because I don't quite understand what's going on in this short. So I spent a lot of time playing this over and over and over and looking at all the detail, right? So one of the first thing is she's got this look on her face like, oopsie, you caught me. Oh my goodness, what is about to happen? So it's supposed to be, I assume it's supposed to be a funny kind of video. And so she is making this weird face. Now, you're going to see her holding her friend. We're going to assume it's a friend holding her by her hair. But notice oh, shoot. That's one problems with the touchscreen computers. Okay. Now, it says, WTF, I swear I won't tell anyone. Which looks like this is Sammy threatening this other young lady. And I guess it's supposed to be the young lady who's begging Sammy not to hurt her. I swear I won't tell anyone. This posted right after she put up the one that said the chances of dying at the hands of your best friend. Weird. So bizarre. Now, so I looked at this. I was looking for nonverbals, and whatnot. There's a couple of things here that really bother me. What you can't really see right here where it stopped is that this young lady has got her arm, she's pulling on Sammy's shirt. She's pulling on it. You're going to see her drop her hand as soon as the camera comes around. Let me see how close I can get. You can see this young lady's face. She is not smiling. She's not smiling. If you are about to make a TikTok video or YouTube short, maybe you think it's going to be funny, so there's a little bit of humor to it. Even if you're going to do something kind of dark, right? She's not. I've looked at it so many times. Notice that her hand drops away from, here's her hand right here. She's pulling on Sammy's shirt. Now watch. See her dropping her hand? Now look at the smile. Going to use that term loosely. She doesn't look like she wants to smile. And she's suddenly pulling her hand down. She's suddenly dropping her hand down. I think she's making an attempt to give a smile to make it look like this is perfectly acceptable to her, that she's not having any trouble with it. Watch. Does this look like a real smile? Does this look like a young lady that thinks this is going to be a really cute video? Something that she's going to be happy for her friends to see? No humiliation going on here? Look at Sammy's face. Like, oh, look at how cute I am. What do you think? What do you guys think about that? That is hella scary. I saw Tiffany Marie. Oh, she put these out yesterday. Yes, Tiffany. Yeah. Isn't it bizarre? Isn't it? It's so bizarre. Skylar niece, was that in West Virginia? I don't remember the state that Skylar's story happened in. Skylar niece was a teenager who snuck out of the house and ended up getting in the car with her two best friends. They killed her. And then they engaged in a cover-up. One of her really great friends was helping the family search, putting out flyers, crying with the mother of Skylar. And then finally, the childhood best friend, the one that had known her the longest, came to the parents crying one day and asked if she could go into Skylar's room. She went in the room. The mom came in and sat down beside her and started talking, and she told her mother the whole truth. What do you think? I don't think oh, it's her. It's her. It's her, Micah. Sinister? Holy crap. That's what I thought when I looked at it, Lulu. There's a photo of Kiely with that pattern of shirt. Which pattern? Which shirt? The one that Sammy is wearing, or the one that the other young lady has got on? You talking about this one that's sort of a mustardy kind of plaid, or the tank top? Which one are you talking about? Hi, Crimea River. It is scary. Hey, Pamela, welcome. You know what? Pamela, you wouldn't believe what hair extensions can do. It's magical. And they've gotten to a point now, they've got so many different shades and lengths. They can dye your hair. It's got human hair. They can dye it. It looks exactly like yours. Don't ever be fooled by the length of hair. Mm-mm. Alessia says, I feel sick. Send to the police. They contacted Emma from YouTube for another one of the girls' social media. Wow. Is that right? Gosh. It's bizarre. It's that sadistic duping delight problem, isn't it? It just is. It's just weird. I cannot tell you how many times I watch this thing from start to finish. She starts this out and she sort of it's contains music from what? Big and Chunky. I think she's bullying this young lady. I think she's shaming her. So she chooses music from Big and Chunky and then does this. I don't think that's 100% wild speculation, what I just said. 100% wild speculation. Let me see. I want to slow it down. It's already slowed. I want to slow it way down. Let me take the sound off so it doesn't freak us out. And then let's watch this all the way through and take note of the facial expressions of the young lady that is having her hair pulled. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like something you'd see in Hollywood, a horror flick. That little girl is not smiling. She is not having fun. This is not fun to her. And Sammy is being just scary. It's scary. It's pretty sketchy. All right. And then we had Dre and Vaughn right in our face. Crazy things happening right now, y'all. Crazy things happening. Okay. All right. So that's it today. That's really what I wanted to talk about. I can't see. I'm virtually blind right now, so you can tell I'm really puffy. But I did really, considering that I started this thing off speaking out, being very vocal in comment sections under videos, standing up for this group of kids, saying that memory is fallible. It's perfectly normal for memories to change over time, and that is not an indication of deception, that kind of thing. 100%. But when you've got reports of wearing one kind of clothing, and then the cops come up with video that show a completely different kind of clothing. In fact, a sweatshirt that would be so easily visible out there in the dark with those LED lights hanging out of the trees, you would have been able to see her quite easily. So my question to this group of kids is why? I'm not making any assumptions here. I'm not blaming this young lady for whatever ultimately occurred or happened with Kiely, but why? Why would you tell them, mislead the police officers? Why would you do that? Why are you talking about telling people to go look for clothing changes in the woods? Where does that come from? Why would you do that? You've got to believe the cops. You've got to believe the cops that they have a video that shows Kiely at the party and she's wearing that white sweatshirt. That's all you need to know. I had to do this back during the Chris Watts case. There was so much misinformation. There was so much, craziness surrounding the whole thing that I finally took a notebook and I sat back and I said, what do we know to be fact? What did the cops told us we can be certain of the things that the police have said? And then I worked backwards from there, because it just turned into this, all these people coming out saying that they were talking to Chris Watts on the telephone. You had people where Ronnie and Cindy Watts were coming out, and they were throwing all kinds of chaff. I mean, they were throwing chaff left and right, so nobody could hone in on any one particular thing. You had Lana coming out making preposterous claims that Nicole was down in the basement. It was there the whole time that everything happened to Shanann. It was just stupid. It was crazy, the stories that were coming out from Kim, Lana. I don't know. It got crazy. It got crazy. I'm afraid that this is going to happen with the Kiely Rodni case. I'm afraid that this is the beginning. That it's just gonna. Y'all have got to go listen to Ryan Upchurch and or Ickmel, and listen to the initial 3 phone conversations that Ickmel has with Ronnie, and listen to what he says, how easily it rolls off his tongue to say, oh, no. My cousin saw her earlier in the day. She was so drunk earlier in the day. And then he tries to say that he meant between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I don't know who you are from Adam's House Cat, but no one would say earlier in the day when they're just talking about, having seen her 30 minutes earlier. No one would say that. They just wouldn't. And you said it with such confidence. It came out of your mouth in such a smooth and easy way. So where were they earlier in the day? Because Sammy makes reference to the fact that they were with Kiely earlier in the day. She makes exactly the same comment. Kiely weaves a story that makes it look like the beginning of the day, the friends together, started at about 10 o'clock at night. That's the way she makes it sound. That Mags, Kiely, and Sammy all came to the party at the same time, but in separate vehicles, right? All together. Well, Mags came with Sammy, but then quickly left. So she starts this attention starting at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Well, then why the hell is Sammy and now this guy Ronnie, why are both of them talking about how drunk Kiely was earlier in the day? It's just a question. There's no wild speculation happening. None. I'm simply going by their words. What does it mean? That's all. Okay. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I will be watching everybody's videos. I'm sure Tiffany will be going live later. Will you be live, Tiffany? Oh, it's hot in my house. Crimea River, thank you so much. This is the beginning of cray. It's the beginning of complete cray. So the conversation about how drunk she was earlier in the day came from both Sammy and Ronnie, both. That is crazy. and then the two short videos that were put out, the chance of dying, the likelihood of dying at the hands of your bestie, and then the one, I promise I won't tell. What are you doing, Sammy? Why did you put out a video that said, I promise I won't tell, as you are miming being threatening toward one of your friends? Why in the world would you do that? Are you? Are you threatening someone? Yes, Crimea River. We're at the beginning of crazy. We are getting on the Chris Watts crazy train, and the engineer right now is painting a new name on it. It's no longer Shanann. This time it's named Kiely, and I think it's going to be crazy. I do. All right, everybody. I'm going to put into this live before we drift into 4 hours. Okay. Y'all have a good evening. I really do appreciate everybody being here. Please, I'm romancing the algorithm. If you don't mind, please make sure you subscribe, put a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on whether or not you like the content. And I always welcome a comment beneath. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.